Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deadbeats. I'm Will.
I'm JT.
And today we have a very special guest with us. We have the wonderfully talented and the beautiful Libby Letlow. You might recognize her from the movie VHS Beyond. She's a stage actress, and she's also an extremely gifted puppeteer. And speaking of that, we also might have a very special guest on here with this episode.
Tell me.
We'll find out. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deadbeats. I'm Will.
I'm JT.
And we're here with a very special guest. We have Libby Letlow. Libby, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you today?
Great. Thank you so much for being on.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so bad with communication, so I'm glad we're able to finally get you on. It's been we've been in talks for months now. I think since our VHS Beyond episode.
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to get so much into that a little bit later when we talk about VHS. But, Libby, I want to start with something like your early life, right? Okay. You're a horror fan,
yeah,
right? But what got you into horror? Like how, like what got you into it? What were some of the movies that you saw growing up, and like why were you so like fixated into it?
What traumatized me?
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, let's open this up.
Okay, I'm gonna start like early. First I'm going to talk about my grandfather. My grandfather was a huge horror fan from a very young age. I mean, I know this doesn't constitute as horror, but his favorite movie of all time was King Kong, 1933.
Nice.
Kong. He grew up going to the movies because his mother was a pianist for the movie houses in Westwood, which is in Los Angeles. So he grew up going to the movies. He had the Fox lot in his backyard. He used to ride his bike into the Fox studio.
Nice.
But he loved Dracula. He loved Frankenstein. So I grew up with all of those. I have like pictures of him with Elvira. My grandfather became vice president of the Count Dracula Society in California.
What?
Way back in like the 70s or 80s. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
Is that still going around? Is that still a society now?
The Dracula Society?
I don't know, actually. I have no idea. But I remember being in his office. He had pictures of movie stars all over his walls, a giant poster of Boris Karloff, pictures of Bela Lugosi. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I have pictures of him with Elvira, Donald Pleasance. Like,
oh my gosh,
he talked to Fay Wray the night she won her like Life Achievement Academy Award. Like, he called her on the phone. Yeah,
he called her.
Hey, yeah, just Fay Wray.
Wow.
So I grew up with all of that. He had all of these wacky things around that. He had this like Frankenstein mask that I used to put on and like run around the house.
Love
Who wears masks?
Really so I already grew up with all that nuttiness around me. I'm pretty sure the very first time I ever quoted a movie like to my family, it was either Bread Good from Frankenstein, or I said, "This is very old wine." The other part of that is when I was 5 years old, there was a day that my mom had to go to work. I wasn't feeling great. My brother wasn't feeling great. So we stayed home together. My brother's 5 years older than me. So he was 10 at the time. Okay. And he showed me Nightmare on Elm Street, like the very first one, and Carrie.
Oh, no.
I love Carrie.
Yeah. And I'm 5. I was terrified to go to bed. I thought Carrie was going to like come up and grab me. I thought Freddy Krueger was going to come through my bed and pull me down like he does to Johnny Depp. Traumatized. And my mother, of course, she found out and threw a fit. But since then, I mean, I've been hooked. My family is a movie watching family. We love movies. I quote movies all the time. Poltergeist is one of my all-time favorite films, not even just horror, but like all-time favorite films. I love that movie so much.
I love the story, like with Poltergeist, on how the very end in that pool scene, how they used like real skeletons.
Okay, so right? I've watched there's one of the documentaries on Shudder. I can't remember which one it is, but they talk about that, like, I guess they used to get skeletons from like India
Yeah.
or something like that. And
So crazy.
and I was like, what? That's
Mhm.
insane.
But she had no idea. Like the
Yeah.
actress had
Yeah,
zero
no
idea.
clue. She's like, oh, these are just props.
Yeah, not
So,
to mention
okay.
like all the actors too. Like there's a curse of that movie. Like they all died violently.
That's right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the girl who plays Dana in the first movie, I know that she was like beaten by her boyfriend at the time, or ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And of course, Carol Ann, she passed after the third movie.
I think it was the third one. Yeah.
And then I know the old man who's in the second movie passed as well. So yeah, it's crazy.
So I got to ask you, right? So say if you were put into a scene, right? Put into a movie where you were working with props, right? Like skeletons or dead people props. And you found out like right after that scene, say if you were in that exact scene, maybe a remake, and then they tell you later, like, hey, just kind of let you know, those were real. How would you act?
I mean, as long as they've been cleaned before they were made up. Like, I don't know. I don't think I care. Bones are bones.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, that's actually kind of sick.
I'd probably be like, oh wow, awesome.
Yeah, can I take one home? Like,
I did like the way he looked at me when he said skeleton. Like, what are you trying to say? Like,
wow. I love that. So I love like the history you have there, like especially with your grandfather. That's insane. Like the picture with Donald Pleasance, right? Like just all like the history there. Like it says so like easily how much he fell in love with it, right? And same thing with like us, our family, like my parents always watched like Tales from the Crypt. That's why I'm such a huge Tales from the Crypt fan. I was petrified of it. But getting older, loved it. Huge fan of Michael Jackson, right? So watching Thriller growing up. And then just like the influences that we had, his older siblings showed him Pumpkinhead.
Oh my God.
Right? Like when he was a child, like wild.
I swear to God, that scared the shit out of me. Sorry.
I also think I grew up in the 80s. I was born in 1980. So I feel like I grew up in like the best time for horror, especially as a kid watching horror. Like we had Monster Squad.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Sorry.
This is bread and butter. He loves Monster Squad. You should hear stories about should we talk about him?
Talk about what?
your crush.
No. I like the sea creature, but it's okay. It's cool.
Well, it's like we had Tales from the Crypt. I didn't have HBO growing up. We didn't have cable, so I didn't see Tales from the Crypt until I was like at a friend's house. But I know that everybody in high school used to say I laughed like the Crypt Keeper because I had this weird cackle. I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
I was gonna say let's try it.
But I also loved Tales from the Dark Side. What was it? The Raft? That's one of like the most traumatizing episodes I've ever watched in my entire life. That scared the crap out of me.
I think about that constantly, like almost like once, like, no lie, like once a year. Have you ever seen The Raft?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
I gotta see it.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, it's up there with some of the best stuff you will ever see. Seriously,
really?
It's so it's oh god, it's for. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but
yeah, I'll watch it. The thing is,
you gotta watch it. I don't want to spoil anything for you. Just watch it and let me know what you think.
I'm probably gonna watch it like probably today. I have like nothing to do after this. I'm probably gonna end up watching it today, and I'll keep you guys updated on how I feel about it.
But yeah, I think I just growing up in the 80s, man, it was just a good time. It was a good time for film in general, and it was a great time for horror.
Oh, 100%.
For you to drop Monster Squad, like it just made my heart explode.
My brother and I used to talk about kicking Wolfman in the nards all the time.
Yes.
And his first time seeing it was I made him review it for an episode. So
yeah, I had no like interest in doing it because I'd never heard about Monster Squad before. I'm like early 90s, like kind of like super late 80s, December of 89, right? So we could call it 90s. I never heard of Monster Squad before, and when he told me about it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna humor him. I'm gonna watch it. Let's do an episode on it, and it's one of our top rated episodes.
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of people who just have that feeling of nostalgia
Mhm.
for the era that they grew up in. It's just
Oh, for
it's
sure.
just one of those great fun movies. Like, it's up there, I think, for like kid adventure movies with like
Yes.
Explorers and Goonies and all that stuff, but it's like
Yep.
the horror version.
Yeah, 100%. I think 80s just blew that horror scene out of the water,
Oh,
and it's
Lost Boys
fantastic.
too. Lost Boys
Lost
is like one
Boys.
of my favorites.
Yep. Another and it's another. Okay.
JT,
I
you and I are
thought
big
we,
besties.
I think
Yeah, you
we,
guys are best friends. It's another. That's another thing I have to admit. Before the episode we did on Lost Boys, I never seen it, and I watched
Oh
it.
my
I
god!
know, I know. I'm such a bad horror fan, but I'm like a '90s guy, so like I'm
No,
a
that's
huge fan of
okay.
like
No,
slashers.
listen. There's no such thing as a bad horror fan.
Love it.
Oh.
Either you were exposed to it or you weren't exposed to it,
Yep.
but now you get to be exposed to these things because you have somebody who's like, "Oh yeah, you should check these out."
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah, he's
great.
definitely
I
drawn
love
to
it. I love it
love that.
I love when people haven't seen things, and I like
Mhm.
bring, like, I have friends that I have very young friends just because I do a lot of theater. There's like, a whole range of ages. I have
Yeah.
very young friends, girls who had never seen Labyrinth, and I'm like, come over, you gotta watch
Wow.
Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you all about that here. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna save that one.
Okay.
So,
You are my best friend though. Like, this is happening.
so you kind of mentioned it already, right? So theater nerd. I'm a huge theater nerd. That's all I did in high school.
Yay.
Actually, I didn't find it until much later though. I was in like I think 11th grade when I was in my first like production.
Oh wow.
9th and 10th grade, I thought I was the cool kid. In theater class, there was a bunch of couches. I was like, I'm just gonna sit in class and get an A. And our director was like, listen, if you don't do a scene, like I'm gonna fail you. So I did
Yeah,
a
you
scene
have to
with one of my
participate.
buddies. Yeah, I had to. I did a scene with one of my buddies, and the director, he was such like a good human being. Like he already knew about like a little bit of a background of my story and like my life. He wanted me to do a scene that had to do with like drug addiction.
Oh.
And I'm like, cool, like yeah, sure, let's run it. And apparently it really like it blew him out of the water, right? He was really excited about it. And then ever since then, he's like, yeah, you're gonna audition for the show. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. I was in. Did you ever hear of Epic Proportions? It's like a
No, I don't
silly.
know that one.
It's like a goofy slapstick kind of like Monty Python's kind of thing.
Okay.
And then we did Aida as a musical, and then we were actually the first ever high school to do the production of Rent. So I was in Rent.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah.
Resume over here.
In high school doing Rent.
Yeah. Well, they have
Fucking
like,
insane.
I mean, they have a lot of young versions for different musicals now. Like there's an Avenue Q for kids.
Yeah. I love that.
And there's definitely like a dumbed down Les Mis for.
Oh yeah,
for
there
young
has to be.
kids.
Yep. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's very bizarre to me.
It's crazy because even the year after we did Rent, they did. Did you ever see Spring Awakening?
Oh yeah, I know Spring Awakening.
Another wild one, right?
Yeah.
Like
For
super
kids to do.
for kids, right?
Yeah.
And they still did it. Like they crushed it. But getting into that, right? So we talked about like your love for horror and where that came from.
Mhm.
I'm also super interested in like your love for acting and performance, and where did that come from?
Yeah.
I was 4 when I did my first play.
What? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any lines or anything. I
Mhm.
think I played a rabbit
Oh,
in
Nice.
a play at a high school that my dad was like, he was playing Santa Claus. So yeah, I was on stage for that, and I loved it. I think the big one that like really got me was the movie Annie.
Which one? Which one? Which
Oh,
one?
hang on.
Original.
The original, right? With
The original Yul
No,
Brynner.
please
yes,
No,
yes.
not Yul Brynner. Yul
No,
Brynner
no.
was on stage. I'm sorry, Albert Finney.
Albert
Please.
Finney, and then why can't I think of his name? He Pennywise.
Tim Curry.
Oh
Curry.
my God, Libby, no.
Libby, I'm not kidding. That version of Annie, that movie is one in my top 5 movies of all time.
Quit saying top 5 and 10.
Movies of all time. I love that movie. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
Annie is one of the very first movies that I saw in a movie theater. I just put this out on my TikTok recently. My mom was in town, and she told the story about the fact that I was fine watching the movie. I loved it until the very end when there were fireworks, and then I started crying.
Yeah.
Loud noises. But no, I think Annie is the movie that like really bit me, like
I love
gave me
that.
that like urge to want to perform. So when we moved to my hometown,
Mhm.
we moved away from like the coast. We moved to Bakersfield when I was 4 years old. And, you know, I was in preschool, I was in kindergarten. And then
Yeah.
once elementary school came around, my parents found in the town, there was a magnet school that had a performing arts program. And I was like, yes, yes, sign me up. I want to do it. So I did. And for the first, 6 years, first through sixth grade, after my regular class during the day, I would go to drama, I would go to choir, I would go to piano lessons. We had
Nice.
art classes,
Mhm.
and um, I had dance classes. It was an amazing way to really start that process early on of learning how theater works.
Yeah.
And I did a play every single year. I mean, we
I
also had
love
like
that.
recitals, but we had spring plays every single year. So I was always on stage. I
I
loved
love
it,
that.
and I have not stopped. I still do theater all the time.
There's nothing like it, and it's and like obviously I don't have like anything else that I can compare it to as far as like being in film or anything, but
Yeah.
there's something about being on stage and just feeding off of the audience's energy with what you're saying. If they're gonna laugh here, if they're gonna laugh this night or
Mhm.
that night, if they're gonna cry, if they're gonna
Yep.
cheer, it's just there's something about the unknown on how they're going to respond, and like when you do get a reaction, it's probably one of the coolest feelings ever. So
Yeah.
I definitely echo that sentiment on how much you love that. I haven't done a play in probably 15 years, but I
Get
still will
on it.
remember.
Get
I know, I
on it.
know, I know.
I was
Maybe one day
the
again.
stagehand, if anything,
Yeah.
or like the tree in the background. Like y'all are talking about like these great performances and all this. Like, oh, I'm jealous. I want to be on stage.
Why not?
You have the personality for it,
For
JT. I think you
sure.
could do
He's
it.
so like energetic and there's a
Yeah.
flamboyance to him. Like it would be
Yeah.
perfect. It would
I
be
think you
absolutely
could do
perfect.
it. I
Yeah.
think you could do it.
Love
Well,
that.
thank you. That means the world coming from you.
Yeah. So also kind of want to tie that in that, right? So you were in Little Shop, right? And that's like
I did Little Shop 15 years ago. Yeah, and that's how I got
wow.
into puppetry.
I love that. I'm going to get into puppetry a little bit more immediately after this question
Okay,
So
you
because
got it.
excited.
he's excited about that. I am too, but he's like, yo, we got to talk about this,
What? Yeah,
and I want to.
badass
It
to
is.
me. I love it.
So it's weird. You have like acting on stage, right, and
Mhm.
acting in front of an audience is so different than acting in front of a camera.
Yeah.
How was that? How were you able to kind of like take your skills on stage and convert that over to camera, and also without looking at the camera? Like that's got to be so difficult.
So the first time I was on camera, I did a television show called Masked Rider
Hmm.
when I was 15. I think I got cast when I was 14, but I don't think I started filming till I was about 15.
Yeah.
And it was a quick learning curve for me because on the stage you have to be so big and animated,
Yep.
especially when you're in auditoriums with 300, 500 people. And yeah, a lot of my direction on TV was, hey Libby, you gotta bring it
Yep.
down.
Yep.
You don't need to be as loud, you don't need to project,
Yep.
and all of this that you got going on, just
Just bring it down a little
bring
bit.
it, just
Yeah.
bring it down. A lot of eyebrow acting, a lot of
Sure.
eyes, a lot of big mouth expressions.
Yeah.
So that was hard for me. That was
Oh, for
really,
sure.
really hard for me to do when I first started acting for camera. Obviously, the more that you do it, the more practice you get,
Yep.
and you realize when you're doing anything for television or film and you're speaking to another person, even if that other person isn't there, which is also so difficult
I can
because
imagine.
as an actor on stage, so much of your performance, acting is not acting is reacting. It's
Yeah.
listening. You have to be able to listen to your partner. And so much of the magic of what you see on stage is that exchange between you and your scene partner.
Yep.
So when you're on camera, it's really it's really difficult for me personally to not have somebody right next to that camera that I can talk to and connect with.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Or if they're like, hey, can you just look at like this part of the camera right here for your eye line? And I'm like,
Okay.
now I'm just looking at metal.
Yeah.
So for me personally, that's not a skill that I have had for a long time. Like I still struggle with that.
That makes sense.
Because I like having another person to work with. And if you're doing a monologue, you've got the audience,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
It just seems like you have the bandwidth, like your upbringing and everything to take creativity and like adopt and learn it though. So like for me and Will, it might take us forever if we could ever get it.
Yeah.
But it seems like you can take everything you learned up to and hone it in to what you've done. You know, it's just it's incredible to see.
Well, it also just depends on the team that you're working with. It depends on the director that you're working with. It depends on the material that you have. Sometimes that material that's on that page is garbage. Like, there are definitely auditions that I've done where I've looked at the sides that I've gotten for that audition. I'm like, who wrote this? There's an audition recently that I got, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this was written by AI. I don't think a human being wrote this script. But you have to do, you just have to do your best.
Yeah.
You know, auditioning is the job. That's the job. Anything else, I told this to another actor recently, anything else is gravy. You know, if you get that job, if you land it, great, you're working. But the actual job that you have to do as an actor is audition all the time, as much as you can. But yeah, I really think it depends on who you're working with, because sometimes there are directors that you work with and you're like, this is great, I can do this. And then there are sometimes you're working with directors who give you nothing.
Yeah.
Or they micromanage every part of your
performance. Oh no. Yeah, that never works across for any profession. Micromanaging never works out.
Absolutely. And it's weird to think about it like that too. And I guess like I never like having a director, the director is pretty much your boss, right? And you can either have a micromanaging boss, right? That one that's kind of like always in your shit. And I'm not a micromanager, I promise. And who's like, you got to do it this way, you got to do it this way. Also could be super vague. And then whatever it is that you're doing, you're just kind of making it up on your own, right? Trying to bring this character to life. And they come to you and they're like, no, that was shit. Like, give me something else. Maybe not shit, but then you have those really encouraging like supervisors or managers, right? Or directors, I'm sure, that are like, that was great. Like, you do you. Like, you read the paper. We hired you for your skills and your uniqueness. So you bring that character to life. We're just here to kind of watch.
It is interesting. There are definitely directors that I've worked with. You know, you're going and going and going, and they're like, yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And they don't give you any feedback. I'm an actor. I like to be directed. I want to give you what you want. So help me get there. You don't need to tell me like exactly where to move all the time or where my eyes need to go all the time, or what, you know, tiny little facial expressions you need to see from me. That's my job.
Absolutely.
But I need some kind of feedback.
Yep.
So my favorite type of directors are collaborative directors. Those that they give you feedback, you give them feedback, and they're happy to like talk it out with you. That's all that you want.
There's a mutual trust.
There's a mutual trust. Yeah.
Yeah, you need that for sure. I love that.
I do too.
Nice.
So can we get into that a little bit? The process of auditioning for.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how was your process for VHS Beyond?
For VHS Beyond. Yeah. I want to know how that came to fruition.
First of all, do you guys have the DVD or Blu-ray yet?
No.
Blu-ray.
You have the Blu-ray?
We got it ordered. We have is it a Blu-ray? I'm talking to my manager, sorry.
That's
my wife. We have something, I don't know.
I've been watching on Prime.
My audition is on the Blu-ray and DVD.
Is it? Oh my god! Okay,
it's one of the special bonus features.
I love that.
Make a note, please.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to get another one that you can keep the other one shrink wrapped and never open, you know. So obviously, I guess it's not obvious. I don't know why I said that.
It's okay.
I had seen a couple of VHSs in the past. I've seen the first two. The second one, phenomenal,
We're
especially
huge
the
fans of
cult.
it. Yo,
So good.
absolutely.
Anyway, when I got the audition, my husband saw the breakdown as well, and he's like, "Oh, VHS." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, we were both on the same page. We were both like, we gotta shoot this, like POV style." And I was like,
yeah.
"Yes." So we did. We shot the whole audition POV style. He held the camera. He held it, where the little dog kennel would have been.
Oh
We
my
just
God.
walked around our house
Yeah.
doing the scenes. So I got off book as much as I could so I wouldn't stop the flow of anything. It is so unbelievably helpful that my husband is also in the industry. He is a phenomenal director. He's a phenomenal actor and performer, but he's also a phenomenal director. And he knew exactly like how we should play it. And both of us were like, yeah, we have to make this sweet. We have to make this creepy. We've got to do what we can to like just say that it's got to be you. And so, I mean, that's how we went about it. The other wonderful thing about it was that we got to use my dogs in the audition, because every other audition that we get, we would always have to like put them in another room. We'd have to make sure that they weren't barking in the middle of a take. And it was so nerve-wracking. So the fact that I actually got to have the dogs as part of the audition, it just added to the charm and chaos and, dread, I think.
I can imagine.
Of what might come. So that was our process for filming it. And as soon as I sent in the tape, my manager, she's amazing, Casey, she immediately called me and she's like, "This is one of the best tapes I've ever seen. And if you aren't cast off of this, they're doing something wrong."
Shout out Casey.
Yeah, shout out Casey. What a good manager.
We found out a few days later, the casting director called her, said I was in the mix. And then like the very next day, what's really funny is the very next day is I saw Justin Long at a cafe that my husband and I went to get brunch.
Oh, wow.
Randomly?
I promised you I'm not stalking
randomly,
you.
Randomly, we saw him there. I didn't talk to him. He was like on his way out.
Yeah.
I told him the story later on set, but and then I think that night is when I got the call that I was cast.
Did you know he was tied to the project when you saw him at the cafe?
It was on the breakdown. Yeah.
Okay. Were you you super professional, right? But for me, I would have been like, I got to talk to him. I have to talk to him. Was there anything in you that,
I wanted to, but my husband and I were both like, play it cool. Play it cool.
Yeah. I have no idea who he is.
Yeah. But as soon as he left, we looked at each other and we were like, holy shit, is that a sign?
Oh yeah, it probably was.
You just met the Scream King.
Yeah, he's our Scream King. Like we love Justin Long. Anything he touches, we think is pure gold. Yeah.
I tried not to fangirl out too much on set. I mean, I've been a fan of Justin Long since Galaxy Quest. Yep. But he and his brother were definitely equal partners on this. They wrote it together. They directed it together. It was interesting to have two directors. But both of them are just absolutely phenomenal. He and Christian, they used to have a podcast together that we listened to a lot as well.
Yeah, they haven't had an episode in an extremely long time.
I don't know if they're doing it anymore.
Yeah,
need to start it back up.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
So with that, kind of like want to tie into it again. You were already a fan of him, right? But then going under his direction, how was that? Was that like an immediate, like mutual respect? Like, was it an immediate, like good relationship? I can imagine it was seamless.
It seemed seamless.
Yeah.
It was I don't know how I lucked out. I really have no idea how I lucked out with that one, because they were both so amazing to work with, so easy. I think Justin and Christian and I all have a very similar sense of humor as well. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that I like him as a performer, and I enjoyed their podcast too.
Yeah.
We have a very, very similar sense of humor. We're also of like the same generation too. Mm-hmm. So any references that they threw at me, I immediately got.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best.
And again, going back to collaborative directors, I've said it this whole time. They're two incredible collaborative directors where like they would throw things out at me and we would just play. I would ask him about certain lines, and we would, be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
It was one of the most relaxed sets I've ever been on. And I also have to give props to just the VHS team, like Josh Goldblum and his crew have been doing this forever, and they are all so seamless. And like the choreography of the camera work that has to go into these, because they're all POV. It's such a beautiful dance to watch them do.
Absolutely.
And they've all been doing it together for so long that they all get each other, they all get their movement. So like just the entire process was so easy. It was easy. And I loved it. It was so much fun.
You
there
said
was
something
not a day on set that we weren't laughing.
Oh, that's great. And you, again, like you go into work, right, and you're having fun. It doesn't feel like work at all.
No.
You're there with your friends and you're doing something you love.
Incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
So you said something that kind of resonated with me a little bit. In the very beginning, you said you don't know how lucky you were. Libby, let me tell you, they don't know how lucky they were to have you. There's the tie, right? I get that to Misery, right, into Kathy Bates, which I completely get. It was almost immediate.
We both texted each other that.
Immediate.
It was random.
It was actually on an episode.
Yeah.
When we were talking about VHS, I don't know if you've seen it. When we were talking about VHS, and we're talking about your performance specifically, we're like, didn't she like remind you of? And he goes, Kathy Bates. I was like, holy, oh my god, like immediately. But even with that, there was an essence there of Kathy Bates, but don't get it fucking twisted. Like that was Libby Letlow. Like again, there's essence there, but you are so unique and so gifted in your delivery and your mannerisms and your facial expressions. Again, cool. But
you make me cry, dude. Seriously.
We want to give you your flowers because you deserve it. Like it was awesome. It was a great performance. I wish the movie was a whole movie. I know it was a rumor that it should have been or was.
Well, no, I think the rumor. One of the things that I read, and I think this was in an interview with Christian, is that it actually their script started off as a feature script, and they cut it down to be part of VHS. I have no idea if that's true. I have no idea like what the background is on all of that. But listen, if they ever want to turn it into a feature, they know where to find me. 100%. Justin has my number.
100%. Just like trying to I guess like getting the curtain peeled back and the understanding of Becky Baxter, right? And it was Baxter, just where it started, right?
The origin.
What was her childhood like?
It had to be something horrible.
And how you turned into, or how she turned into, like the menacing individual that she was. There were some scenes that really stood out to me, and the commercials were cool, right? They were kooky, they were funny, they were cute. But I'm telling you right now, what stood out to me the most, it wasn't after you guys go into the basement. It wasn't after the reveal. It was the interaction that you had with the two in the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the house, there was one thing that you did where you were talking about the dog that you had, Robert, right? And the relationship that dog was going to have with their dog that they had, and
Pickles.
the girl Pickles, and the girl laughed, and you're like, is there something funny?
The underlying horror of like.
I'm telling you,
you should watch the audition.
Yeah.
When you get a chance, watch the audition, because I think it's even more prominent. We toned it down a little bit.
Yeah.
For the scene, but it's even more prominent in the audition. There's even a bit that was written in the original script that was taken out, where she's saying like, no, I live alone. I'm fine. And then she's like, unless there's somebody you want to set me up with. Like, no, I'm just kidding. So it was funny because I really liked that line, but they ended up cutting that out.
That's a very good one. There was another one that you did where you're like, if I wouldn't have known better, I'd feel like you're trying to pry into my life. And then it's just like these little things that you turn like this it feels like genuinely nice individual, right? And it's super like energetic individual to just, you could be menacing at the drop of a dime. And there's this scene, and I was like, hey, let's watch this again real quick. And I keep on looking at the TV because I had it on.
Okay.
And there's this one part where you're talking about pickles, and you're like, this isn't, a place for any dog to live.
It's the scene that everybody talks about. It's where the mask drops because
Yes.
I see the camera.
Immediately, Libby,
Yeah.
when we were watching it together, I was like, chills. Like I'm getting chills, like talking about it. It's fantastic. And then, of course, the big reveal down in the basement. It's just like,
I had my guard up with you the whole time. Okay,
Yeah.
as soon as I seen you, I was worried. I was hiding behind like.
He's like, this lady, she's
I
gonna
wouldn't
kill
have done
somebody. She's gonna
Yeah.
do something.
the commercial was so sweet and like just like genuine. I knew you loved animals, like you knew you loved, and I'm like, this lady's gonna be fucking crazy, and you
Trouble.
played it perfectly.
Thank you. I
Talking
appreciate
about, like,
that.
the patting on the foot.
Oh no,
like,
that's so gross.
treating
too.
humans like animals. Like, you're like, give me your paw. I'm like, holy shit.
Feeding her in the kennel, like. What a
I mean,
psycho.
I think Christian said it in one of his interviews. He's like, it helps that she's a crazy dog lady because I
Yeah.
am.
That's what I was gonna say. You can tell that you in real life love animals as well, right? And you
Oh my God, I
dogs as
love
well, so.
animals. I love animals.
Oh, that's great. I love that. Fantastic. Again, the whole VHS Beyond was great. When we were talking about the episode in our show, it was that specific segment that stood out to us
Yeah.
immediately. He's a huge fan of body horror.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Okay.
never crazy into it, but that I'm like, it's the best part in VHS Beyond, and I know you are, and I know this is probably coming from us, but like you should be so fucking proud
I am.
of that damn character, like that performance. It was phenomenal.
I am unbelievably proud of what I did with Becky, and I this isn't like trying to kiss their ass or anything like that. This is genuine. Like so much of that was already in the writing. It was all there.
Yeah.
I just had to give voice to it. Like the way that it was written, you already saw Becky as like a full fleshed out character in the script. So the fact that I was just like, okay, well, here she is.
You brought those words to life.
It made my job so much easier.
I love that.
So thank you. Yes, I am incredibly proud of it, but man, it was an easy process for me because they already gave me everything that I needed to create that character. She was already fully realized.
That's so cool. I love that. And you made it look so seamless, even though it was there for you. Like I can imagine, like, I know I'm probably wrong, but like those probably all seem like super genuine and real takes, like single takes. And I'm like, there's no shot. Like
there's a lot of it is, there's definitely obviously like a couple of cutaways and edits, but for the most part, yeah, we did a lot of those in single takes. Again, I'm going to tell you, just go watch the auditions.
Yeah. I can't wait to watch
it.
Those really are single takes.
We'll just do a reaction video.
So I don't know. Yeah, we do some every now and again. We try to put out some sort of like reaction videos. Maybe we'll do that. If you're okay with that, we'll do a reaction video.
Oh my God, yeah, they're out to the public now, so please enjoy. Do
Maybe
it.
We'll do that for like this week because obviously this is gonna be like Libby week, right? We're gonna put you out on Wednesday, and we'll throw the reaction out too.
People are gonna be sick of me, man.
No way, no way.
It's funny because you guys talk about the fact that like Fur Babies really does stand out. I think that has to do with the fact that it's comedic. Yeah. It's shot entirely different than the other ones. It's so clean. Like it looks like you're watching like an actual movie or TV show or something. And there's so much humor behind it. And obviously it's the one with like the most body horror.
Yeah.
But I think it was like just reading all of the reviews that came out afterwards, it was definitely the most divisive.
Yes.
As part of VHS because, it didn't have like the whole aliens theme or anything like that. But also it was people either loved it or they hated it. They either loved Becky Baxter or they thought that she was like the most annoying person in the world. But I'm like,
either way, you did your job.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Either way, I did my job.
Yeah.
I was about to cuss out the haters. Just saved them. about lost some shit, Libby.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah,
okay.
Facts.
That's cool. I'm back. Okay.
And the supporting actors in that one, right, as well. We got
they were
unbelievable.
they were great.
Unbelievable. I love the essence, especially in the very beginning of the wokeness, right? It was like, hey, don't be ageist, because they called you
Yeah,
like
I
a
know
fucking old lady.
they called me an old lady.
Yeah.
He does that to me all the time, Libby.
No, I don't.
Yes, he does.
It's funny because I know it's in the script, you know,
Yeah.
and it was in the script before I was even cast, because I don't think that they were quite sure of what age they wanted to cast Becky, if they were
Yeah.
looking for somebody, because I think the age range on the call was like 35 to like 65.
That's a big.
You
Oh,
know,
wow.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't even think of 65 as old anymore either, though, because I'm, you know, middle-aged now. But it is funny because, in the script, they're like, let's get this old lady. And they're like, hey, ageism. But even like watching the video, and I'm like, yeah, that woman probably, Becky's probably like, she looks like she could be in her 50s, maybe. I don't know.
Whatever you did, right? So the Becky, the character, did look the age that she was supposed to, but like when I look at you, I'm like, there's no shot you're even close to that. I don't know if it was like makeup or I don't know what
setting.
It looked great,
clothing.
but then I look at you and I like see your Instagram, and we're talking now. I'm like, yeah, there's no like Becky Baxter is in a completely different like century than Libby Letlow. Like whatever it was, great.
She definitely was. I think a lot of the cheerfulness of Becky is just me doing an impression of my mom.
Oh yeah.
So I think that was part of Becky's personality for sure. It was, I mean, my hair was a different length.
Yep.
And I think it was just the way that they did my hair, the makeup, the clothing. And then when when they transitioned from the commercials to just me in the house, we hardly had any makeup on me at all. So I just looked, I just came to set, like, roll out of bed and like, I'm here.
I love that because it tells the story that like Becky is putting these commercials out, like trying to get people to bring their pets, and then in real life, it's like cool.
Taking off the mask.
Yep, taking the mask off for sure.
Yeah, you're literally taking the mask off. JT.
Yep.
He's
like, what mask?
This is how I normally look. Thank you very kindly.
I love that. VHS, again, your segment was fantastic. I know JT wanted to talk to you about something that, yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a weird request probably, and don't yell at me. Is Lala around? You don't.
She's not at the moment because she had an accident. So she's actually she's going to be in surgery soon.
Oh no, was it the dog?
No, it was not the dog. No, my dogs can't go anywhere near my puppets. No, she was just, I had taken her to a school to introduce her to some kids. They were a little grabby. Also, just being in the car with the LA sun, things melt.
I had to take my shot. I knew I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I took it.
I don't have.
You have Debbie?
I don't have. I might have Debbie.
Like,
also.
Yes.
You guys want to see my grandfather with Elvira?
Oh, Elvira. Oh my gosh.
Well,
we follow her.
That is awesome picture. Holy shit.
Great.
There he is.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Holy crap.
Thank you for letting us see that.
Dude, could you imagine if we had cool grandparents like that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I actually do have Lala here, but she's missing her eyeball.
I don't know why I'm so attached to Lala to all of them. She has multiple, but
he wouldn't shut up about Lala for the whole week, Libby.
Lala's missing her.
Oh my God, Lala, no! Lala.
So here's Debbie. Hello, boys.
I fucking love you so much.
JT, I like your skull.
This is me, my shit.
Mom?
You can call me Mom if you want to. If you like me.
What a break. This is incredible.
I'm going to give Debbie a hug so bad.
I got to meet Debbie. Oh, God.
Oh.
My eyelid was falling off. Let me just fix that. There we go.
You are
much better now.
Oh my
You
goodness.
are so talented. Like, it's insane. Have you ever thought about doing some type of like puppet horror, like with this version of something?
Oh my God, I would love to.
Because you make them, right? Like, could you?
Mike Flanagan, have your people call my people.
Yes.
Please, let's do some puppetry horror.
Dude, could you imagine? That's what I'm saying. It's got like, could you? Oh God.
Should we get James Wan on this?
Yes, The Conjuring. Oh God, please. Oh my God.
Hey, Debbie, where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Staten Island.
Yep.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
say New
yeah,
Jersey.
yeah, easily. And Debbie,
So I'm actually based on a real woman. She used to call a college all the time. And she would want to talk to, oh God, what's his name? Who's that beautiful black man that talks about astronomy?
Oh, Neil deGrasse
Is that Neil
Tyson.
deGrasse?
Neil deGrasse, thank you. She used to call and ask to talk to him all the time, apparently. I don't know. I've never met this woman. But her name was Deborah Maniscalco.
Shout out.
And they the creators of the show, The Millie Show, they gave me just a drawing of what they wanted to look like. And this is what they got.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, push those things up. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
I'm in love.
Holy shit.
This is probably one of the best.
Your viewers are not going to know what to think about this.
I'm going to screenshot
I thought you were talking to that Libby Letlow girl. Who the hell is this woman? Orange beast. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's a beautiful goddess. You're not a horrid beast. You're a beautiful goddess,
You're
Debbie.
beautiful. Oh my God.
I need my vape.
She has a vape. Yes.
There we go.
You, Libby, I swear to God.
I can't do this anymore.
You, Libby,
Holy shit.
I'm so glad you asked about Deborah.
Because I knew Lala was your first one. How long did it take? I'll let you get settled in.
No worries. Yeah.
I can't breathe. That was the best thing I've ever done as doing this Deadbeats podcast.
That was honestly the highlight of this show.
That
was fucking fantastic.
Phenomenal. How long did it take to make Lala? Like, that was your first one you made, right? Is that correct, or am I wrong?
No, the very first puppet I made is just like this little purple furry thing. He definitely needs surgery. That thing's been around for years. Lala took me. I think I made Lala in about. I think I made Lala in a day, because I made her in an actual like puppetry making class.
Yeah.
So she might have been 2 days. And then I've tweaked her a little bit here and there since I've had her. But yeah, God, I mean, that was like I think, like I said, in 2011.
Wow.
So yeah, she's been around for a while. Debbie, I made in a day.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What made you want to make her double rotted? Because you taught me that I seen there's a difference with the single versus double, and the double.
Double is actually really hard. Double is hard to do. I'm not very skilled at it. I'm much better with just one rod. Yeah. But live hand, what you just saw, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
Live hand puppetry is my favorite.
So I'm assuming that Jim Henson is like up there for you.
Oh my God. Henson is absolutely one of my he's like a god to a lot of people in the puppetry world. I am not nearly as involved in puppetry work as I used to be. Yeah. I used to be like a member of the LA Puppetry Guild, and I just haven't. Other things in life have happened, sure. And I'm not doing it nearly as much. I would love to do something like the Millie Show again. It was so fun to do. Yeah, it was great. Avenue Q. I've done that show. Yep. I've done that show 2 times now, with 2 different casts, both brilliant. One of the shows I actually made all of the puppets for. Really? And then the other show that I did, that the group that we ended up using on Big Little Lies, that those were all the Rick Lyons puppets, like the original like puppets from the Broadway show and everything.
What?
I don't think we used those specific puppets,
Yeah.
but they were created by the person that created the puppets for the Broadway show.
Did you play like multiple and when you did both shows?
Yeah, so I came on. So the first time I did Avenue Q was in my hometown of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
And that's where I made all of the puppets. So usually what happens with Avenue Q is you have a very small cast, and the cast kind of plays all of the roles.
Yeah.
In our cast, we had one person per puppetry role.
Okay.
So the only character I played in that one was Lucy the Slut.
Great character.
But I was also the puppetry coach, so I taught everybody how to puppeteer all the puppets. For the show that I did in LA, I was just coming on to help with them doing callbacks.
Yeah.
So I could like teach the people who were being brought back to be considered for the roles. So I could just teach them a little bit of the puppetry real quick so they could play with the puppets, so the director could see how well they worked with the puppets.
Yeah.
And then I found out that they still had an opening essentially for the second puppeteer role, which is the floating person throughout Avenue Q.
Oh, yeah.
Who does the Bad Idea Bear, the girl, also will do Mrs. Thistletwat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Dude, the show is fucking insane. They're
also the right hand of, or I'm sorry, the left hand of Nikki.
Yep.
And the left hand of Trekkie Monster. And they also have to play the other puppets while the other puppeteers are playing.
That's insane.
So I found out that was still available, and I told the director, and I was like, well, I can do it. And he's like, wait, really? Can you? And I was like, yeah, I'm free. I immediately got the contract, and we did that show. We were supposed to do it for like, I think 3 months, and we got extended another month or two after that.
That's awesome.
One of the best experiences of my life. And then we were asked to be the group of puppeteers for season 1 in Big Little Lies, because they were doing Avenue Q in their theater.
That's what a world, what a life you were just a part of. You know what I mean? Like the things you've seen and done is incredible.
Oh
Absolutely.
My God. You have no idea.
Thank you for bringing Debbie. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I've been so excited.
No, are you kidding? I haven't played with her in forever, so she needs to come out and get a little air every once in a while.
Yeah, she needs to see some air. Yeah.
We need to make Will and JT puppets. Come on one day and try it.
Yes, you should.
Oh my
God, you absolutely
should. I love that. That was, I'm telling you, I'm not even lying. That was a highlight of the show. Libby, we've been actually next month will be a year since we've started the podcast.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's grown into something very, very different than I guess what we had. I don't want to say originally planned, but when we had originally put out. The idea actually came from JT's wife. We call her Yoko, like Yoko Ono.
She's gonna break us up one day.
I hope she's not splitting you guys up.
It'll happen.
I just imagine her like standing over in the corner now with like long black hair, naked, covering herself.
You penned her.
And just painting a skull on the wall.
Yep, you penned her. Only difference is she's not Asian. We don't think.
I'm her muse.
But we had a conversation about a horror book, right, that we had both been reading at the same exact time with not even realizing it. And the banter that we had, even through text, his wife was just like, you guys should consider starting a podcast. That conversation happened in April of 2024. We started it in June, and we haven't stopped, and we love it. We're so grateful to have people like you on that shows us like your gifts, and just like we can put like your love for acting and performing out there to the world. We know we're still small, but we want people to see this so much. We want all of our viewers to see it. We just want to push you out there. Again, we think you're incredible. We think you're absolutely incredible.
I think you guys are incredible. You guys are so sweet and hilarious.
Thank you.
And I like kindred spirits, seriously.
I love that. Thank you so much. We I guess we can start kind of wrapping this up a little bit. I do want to talk about a little bit of what your future plans are. Like, do you have anything going on? What are your
Sure.
projects?
As far as acting goes, I do have an audition that I need to film this weekend. Literally, this didn't even come in through my manager. This came in through a friend I've had since I was like a kid.
Wow.
He's now producing some stuff, and he messaged me last night, and he's like, "Hey, I have a role for you. I'm going to send you the sides. I want you to just read it, do your
Whoa.
best." I also had a really great conversation. I don't know if you guys know who Nick Kozakis is. He's an Australian filmmaker.
Okay.
He's got some horror films out there. We had a fun Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Wow.
Him calling in from Australia yesterday. We had a really good conversation. I will be at Monster Palooza in Pasadena on May 30th. I will only be there Friday night. Our good friend Patrick, director Patrick on the socials, his film The Path is going to be screening at Monster Palooza that night, and Chuck the movie guy is going to be hosting.
Nice.
So I'm going to go and finally meet those guys in person and see Patrick's movie. So I'm really excited about that. As far as other stuff right now, I really don't have anything to share. I am trying to get a production of Romeo and Juliet produced for next year here in Los Angeles.
Nice.
I will be doing a crowdfunding for that because I'm trying to raise like between $20,000 and $50,000.
Yeah, send us a link.
We pay everybody.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's kind of my next big thing on the horizon. Again, it won't be until next year, but I'll be starting crowdsourcing and things like that this year.
I love that. Send it to us.
Please.
And we'll put it out. Yeah, we'll help you out as much as we can. I love that. Cool. So with that, what are your socials? Let's plug in your socials, and then we'll say goodbye until next time.
You got it. On Instagram, you can find me at Libby Retro. It's Libby Letlow with R's.
Scooby-Doo.
It is a Scooby-Doo reference. That's exactly correct. And then here's the funny thing. I don't even know what my TikTok name is anymore. Oh, it's Lady Graylow.
Okay.
So my married last name is Gray, and then Letlow.
Oh, Gray, Letlow. I love it.
Yeah, we've been, our ship name has been Graylow for a very long time. I officially took Gray when I got married, but I still have the stage name Letlow. So yes, my TikTok is Lady Graylow, and that's just all one word. And Gray with an A, not an E.
Awesome. Okay, love that. We wish you all the best in the auditions and in your future endeavors and what you have going on. We're going to keep this relationship. We love you.
Please.
I hope this isn't too early. We love you.
Please don't leave us.
Yes.
Please keep talking to us.
Again, you're fantastic. You're unbelievably gifted and talented, and I feel like we're literally in the presence of greatness.
Yeah.
Your future is so fucking bright, Libby. We're so looking forward to what you have going on in the future.
I'm proud of what you've done.
So sweet. Yeah. You guys are so sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. Of course. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.